Bill Armstrong, owner of Bill's Building in Youngstown. We are a small business that does all kinds of construction, fairly small, residential, some light commercial, from foundation to finishing. Anywhere in the special areas usually, or even down MD of Acadia, sometimes as far as Drumheller country. Just recently built a shop and a car wash here in Youngstown. We began Bill's Building in 1984, so that'll be 35 years this coming about May. Car wash will have been running for 2 years this June. Yes, I grew up on a farm 10 minutes outside of Youngstown. Was gone for a few years after high school, got married. Nicky and I moved to Youngstown. Then we're overseas for 3 years, came back here, and that's when we started our business. I like it well enough. I've done it for 35 years. A lot of people that I work for I know. Some are good friends, some are just acquaintances. Once in a while it's difficult because people know things about you that you wouldn't necessarily want them to know, if a business deal went bad with somebody else, that sort of thing. But there's not very much of that. Mostly it's very positive. We needed groceries. And I had had a little bit of construction experience. We actually, when we were overseas, we were doing missions work. We helped start a new church in the Philippines. When we came back, the church I grew up in here asked me to help for a few months in the summer, but we needed work and I had some construction experience, so I just started doing small jobs. Bought a sign with Bill's Building, put it on my truck door, and my mom said, that looks more like Bill's truck than Bill's Building. But that's how we started. Then my wife bought me the official business stamp and we were in business. Probably the biggest skill of just learning to work hard and get out of it. I learned growing up on a farm. My dad taught us how to work, expected us to work. We enjoyed it. I always liked working with other people, getting stuff done. The skills for building, we did a little bit of our own construction on the farm, but I worked for a construction company out in this area for about a year, and then another company in the Hannah area for close to a year, building houses, and so I had a little bit of background before I started my own business. The biggest issues are probably things that other businesses face: having and keeping good employees, having the right amount of work, having enough work and not too much. Our work is seasonal. One of the big challenges is we'll be really slow for a while, and then we have a whole bunch of work to do. And if you don't have staff in place, it's really hard to get to all that. And we've had a lot of good young guys work for us over the years, but a lot of them move on, do other things, and so there's constantly retraining of people. Those are all challenges. And pricing things right so that you get the work but make money. Not too high, then you won't get it. Not too low, then you don't make anything. Those are the challenges we faced for 35 years. One of the projects I enjoyed a lot was adding on to the library here in Youngstown. Doing something in my own community that people benefit from. A lot of young guys worked on the project. Young guys working for me. A young electrician did just about all the work. He was like 21, and young guy working for Wecker, 22 or 23, did all the plumbing. And it was fun having all those young guys doing something that benefited our own community.
I think seeing projects finished and accomplished and knowing customers are happy with the results is very satisfying. Oh yes, I think one of the things that we probably learned is to save money when you're doing well and you have a prosperous season, and then it helps for the times that are not quite so prosperous. Thinking ahead, because everything changes, nothing is the same day to day, week to week, month to month, season to season, and there are things that affect business, the economic climate, political things, those sorts of things. So, yeah.
And I think I would add to that, probably the way we grew it is the way we would grow it again. Just sort of, I don't think we ever tried to take on something we couldn't take on. I learned as I went, and I wasn't able to go to school, but I did study quite a bit and saw experience, went and wrote my journeyman's papers like 25 years ago. But we have always tried not to really tackle things we can't handle, but not to just do stuff that's easy, but to not be afraid of challenges too. And in our sort of business, it wouldn't work like some businesses to borrow a bunch of money to start big. It worked better to just do what we could afford and let it grow how it did.
Yeah, starting small is a really important thing. If you're going to start a business, it needs to be slow and steady.
At least for us, that's what we
That's
say.
what. Well, yeah, that's right for us. That's what worked. Yeah.
Needing to make a living, needing to supply for my family. And I did work for others for a little while, but it appealed to me to do my own thing, and I'm glad we have.
And I think too, when we started hiring fellows, seeing them take the apprenticeship program and doing their schooling and finishing up for them, that they have a career. And we've hired quite a few local fellows, and it's been really positive.
Yeah, and that's not something we would have planned, but about 20 years ago, somebody said to me, you've provided work and career for a lot of young guys, and I never really thought about it. And yeah, that's a nice benefit. And Nicky's right. I think our best help usually has been people that grew up around here and or relatives. I've had a lot of nephews work for me that have done very well for us too.
I think mostly positively though, because the other side to having your own business, you maybe have to work a little harder sometimes than you would working for somebody else, but you can take the time off when you want to, within reason. And so we always took time to take a holiday with our family when they were growing up, and to this day, we make time to do those things. And it's nice to be able to say, okay, I'm not going to work Friday. We'll go early and see your kids.
On the other side, one of the things that has affected our business is that, unlike a store that sells products or merchandise, our phone can ring as early as 6:30 in the morning and as late as 10 o'clock or 10:30 at night. So sometimes there's not real guidelines as to
You don't get away from your work in this neighborhood.
Yeah, when we open and close. Positive is that all of our sons have learned to work with us. And so one of the fun projects that we did one time as a family was we bought a house and flipped it. And so some of the boys who felt good about painting were able to paint. The others that were able to do flooring did flooring. So it was a family effort, and it was very positive. So those are the benefits, I would say.
I guess lots of different entrepreneurs do different things. Us in the trades, we need to know the trade, but more than that, I think you need a sense of overall management, being able to know if you're making money or not. Some people don't seem to know that until it's too late. So a good overall, you need to have good oversight as to whether your business is really making money or how to change direction so that you can. That would be one thing. Is you need some ability with people, at least in the service, in any service business. You need to be able to feel out your customer a little bit, know a little bit what might displease them, what would please them. And working with people, employees, some people skills is really important. So that ability to see the big picture, be able to work with people, and then to know what you're doing well enough to be very competitive with other people doing the same thing or better.
I would say reliability is important. People like to know that you're going to show up, that you're going to do the work, and that you're going to satisfy the customer. It's probably in line with what you were just saying. People skills are really important. Having patience is very important because sometimes supplies don't come in on time. And so, yeah, reliability, patience, and I would say management. So management covers a lot of skills. It covers getting a job ready, managing the people that are going to be doing the job, and then managing the invoicing and the estimates and those sorts of things. So management is a pretty big part of being an entrepreneur.
Probably the sort of things we've been saying, but be sure it's what you want to do. Be sure you're cut out for it. Like, some people don't like risk. We've had some young guys that are very good carpenters that wouldn't have done well running their own business. One or two of them tried it and it didn't go well for them. Just knowing the trade isn't enough. You need to be able to know that you can do it. You need to be comfortable with some risk and some challenge.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's not for you. I've told all of my sons, running a small business is not for the faint of heart. There's lots of times where it's bumpy.
Another thing is, I think it's really important to do your paperwork. It's one thing to have it all in your head, but it's good to have, I think, good paperwork skills, good administrative skills too.
Example of that would be when we started small, I did quite a bit of our own books and just took them into an accountant and thought it was going fine until we got audited one year, and my lack of organization bit us. We owed Revenue County quite a bit of money, and so we switched to Nicky doing the books about 15 years ago. It's gone better. Even though she would say she's not a bookkeeper, she's better at organizing. And yeah, as you grow, you have to do things right, and that's something we learned through some hard experiences sometimes.
I think marketing is a good thing, letting people know, because the climate of people living in a place changes, and so it's good to have your name out there. Because we've been in business for as long as we have, you can't just rely on the fact that you've done business for customers, although we have a lot of customers we've done work for time and again, but it's good to have marketing. For example, websites and what we're doing right now, and just word of mouth. I think it's really important.
Some things we can't do anything about Alberta's economy or the local economy, but you can sometimes adjust yourself to say, well, maybe we should be learning to do this sort of thing because people are doing this these days, not what they did 10 years ago. As a whole life quote, something out of the book of Colossians in the Bible: make the most of every opportunity. That mostly for me is with my Christian faith, which is important to me, but in all of life, it's a really good thing to make the best of. If we're going to see our kids, we're going to go on, make the most of that opportunity. If I'm going to do something in business, I'm going to do it as good as I can, going to make the very best chance. Even negative things, if you make the most of the opportunity, I think it helps you keep going. That's something that's a verse that I've kept in my head for 30 years probably.
And I would agree with that. Also, I think treat others as you would have them treat you. That goes a long ways.
I just want people to know that we do a really broad range of things, and that pretty much anything in construction we'd be confident to do, other than big commercial stuff. Anything in residential, anything that most people would need, we would either be able to do it or find them somebody to do it. So they could call us about just about anything related to building.
And that we want them to feel satisfied with the work that we do, because we know we can do good work.